If you've been living with chronic pain or illness, chances are you've been told to fight it, fix it, figure it out, or ignore it. And if you're watching this video, that probably hasn't worked. When we want to heal our chronic pain and symptoms, that often doesn't occur by fixing the body and treating it. It occurs by treating your brain and nervous system and cultivating a sense of safety. And the biggest missing piece for most people is learning how to somatically work with pain or symptom sensations safely, step by step. And that's what today's video is about. I'm going to explain my whole somatic process that I teach all my therapy clients for working with pain and illness sensations and creating safety with them. And by doing that, that's going to help you retrain your brain out of these pain and symptom sensations over time. So as we now know from the latest research, most chronic pain and symptoms are neuroplastic. So what this means is your pain and symptoms are not due to damage or disease in the body. They're due to your brain and nervous system being stuck in this heightened state of danger and dysregulation. Now, most people, when they have pain and symptoms, they get caught in what I call a sensitization cycle. So you can see if you have pain and symptoms, they start to occur. Most people respond with danger-oriented beliefs, behaviors, and nervous system dysregulation. And as you do that, your brain and nervous system feel in even more danger, and then it produces more pain and symptoms. More pain and symptoms, more dysregulation, more pain and symptoms. So you can see it's a feedback loop that people get caught in. And I have seen people caught in this sensitization cycle for decades. Now, to overcome this, we need to use embodiment practices. This is a type of practice that I utilize with people in my digital course and in my therapy clinic. Now, embodiment practices are somatic work with the pain and symptom sensations. Most of us, when we have pain and symptoms, we run away from it. We run for the hills. We don't want to feel that. We want to distract ourselves, ignore it, avoid it. But we're doing the opposite with embodiment practices. So what we're doing is, while we do embodiment practices, we're getting exposure to sitting with and exploring the pain or symptom sensations in your body. So if you had back pain, you're going to be exploring, what does that feel like? Tense, burny, tight. And as you get this exposure to the pain and symptoms, we're also creating safety with it. Using safety signals, we're going to create safety as you attend to the pain and symptom sensations. And what we're going for over time with embodiment practices is what I call healing wins. Now, a healing win is not about your pain and symptom reducing in the moment. A healing win is about you feeling 2% safer, 2% calmer. You felt like you could approach and explore the sensation a bit more. Your fear or frustration reduced a bit. If you get these little healing wins and you start to stack them up over time, that's what's going to reverse the sensitization cycle. And then your pain and symptoms are going to come down. But I want to be clear, embodiment practices are not a pain or symptom medication. It's not like popping an Advil, hoping that your pain goes away right in the moments. So we don't want to have like a desired outcome and try and force our pain and symptoms to reduce. We're actually just trying to create safety. That is the main goal. Now, as you get these healing wins and they start to stack up over time, people enter in to the desensitization cycle. So, safety-oriented beliefs, behaviors, and nervous system regulation starts to take place as you consistently do the embodiment practices day by day. And while that happens, eventually your pain and symptoms are going to start to decrease. And then you're going to feel even safer. You're going to feel more regulated. And as that happens, pain and symptoms decrease even further. This is a beautiful cycle to start to create. And it's not going to occur from you doing somatic work with embodiment practices once. It's going to be done consistently day by day, because as we do that, your pain and symptom system of the brain will start to desensitize. And this is the key to healing your chronic pain and illness. Now, in the remainder of this video, I'm going to break down embodiment practices and what it actually can look like to somatically work with your pain or symptom sensations. So the first step is drop in and describe. So what you're doing is you're dropping out of your mind, out of all the worries, judgments, obsessions about your pain and symptoms, and you're dropping in towards the actual symptom sensation. So if you imagine back pain, could you drop in towards it, keep your breath slow, and describe it in detail? Does it feel tense around your spine? Do you feel burny or tingliness? Is it in a small area or a large area? I really want you to get to know the sensation. I know when we have pain and symptoms for so long, it feels like it never changes. It's always about the same. But if you do an embodiment practice over 10 minutes, there will be some subtle changes and differences, even if they're just really minor. So really practice being curious and interested in the sensation, because that's going to help create safety. Step number 2 is deepen your connection with the sensations. So with embodiment practices, you are tracking the sensation over time. So you want to notice any subtle movements, changes, differences. For some people that have neuroplastic symptoms, you may notice even bigger shifts where you may have had back pain, but now it's shifted to more shoulder pain, and then it's shifted to hip pain. So you want to be kind of following it around, and we're trying to deepen this connection with our body. For a lot of people that have chronic pain and illness, we become very disconnected from our body. We're living neck up because we've had these unpleasant sensations for so long that we never want to be in our body. But we want to deepen your connection and really get to know the sensations in detail. Now, I like to ask people, what shape, size, color, and texture is your sensation? This way, you're starting to create some imagery, some wording to explain how you're feeling. Like for myself, my back and hip pain often felt red, prickly, and weighted down. Step number 3 is stay in the healing window. Now, when you are doing embodiment practices, somatic work with your pain and symptoms, we want to stay in the healing window. So I'll explain what this means. You have a window of the amount of sensation you can tolerate attending to, and you want to be within this window. So for some people, they can only attend to their pain or fatigue when it's a 4 out of 10 intensity or less. That's their window. So there's the right level of sensation that they can drop in to in their body and they can tolerate being with. If that person dropped in when their pain or fatigue was at a 6 out of 10, all of a sudden they're outside that window. And it's going to be so overwhelming and dysregulating that they're never going to get healing wins. They're never going to feel safe with it. And to be honest, sometimes when we're outside of our window and we're doing somatic work, it starts to escalate pain and symptoms along with the dysregulation. So I always tell my clients, do not cheat the window. Maybe you can only attend to a 2 out of 10 symptom level or less. Okay, your window's narrow, and that's all right, but just that's when you want to be doing embodiment practices. I also want to note, like, say you started an embodiment practice for your back pain, but as you were going along, your back pain was increasing rapidly. At some point, you're going to want to probably stop that practice if it's getting too intense. Again, we're trying to get in that desensitization cycle where we create more safety in our nervous system. And as we create more safety in our nervous system, then the pain and symptoms start to come down. But if you're outside that window, you're not going to be able to create and enter into the desensitization cycle. So just be very mindful of this as you're kind of going along and doing somatic work. And lastly, number 4, shifting between safety and danger signals. Now, the danger signal that most of us feel during embodiment work is your sensations of pain and symptoms, or the sensations of nervous system dysregulation or difficult emotions. These are often danger signals for people. And that's why we're doing the embodiment work, because we're trying to get exposure to you actually approaching and being with those sensations. So those are the danger signals. Now, safety signals are internal things or external things you could do while doing somatic work with your pain and symptom. So safety signals can include things like somatic movement, breath work, present moment sensing, such as sight, sound, taste, touch, smell. It could be certain tapping or massage, like somatic massage. I recently did a tapping video that you can check out. I'll put the link down below. It could also be things like visualization, like visualizing a calming person, place, or animal, as well as safe self-talk. So safe self-talk is the cognitive things. Cognitively reminding yourself as you're attending to your pain or illness sensations that these are neuroplastic, your body's healthy, your body's capable, you have lots of evidence that your body's okay. And by doing consistent embodiment work, your symptom will come down over time. This is an example of safe self-talk. I've had some people keep it really simple with safe self-talk, telling themselves, I'm okay right now. This is just a sensation. It'll pass. So in this 4th step, what you're doing is you're shifting between safety signals and danger signals. So I'll give you an example. You're already doing an embodiment practice and you're focusing on your pain or illness sensation. So you're already on the danger signal. Then let's say you shifted to a safety signal of present moment sensing. So you shift your focus to notice the sounds or lack of sounds around you. You explore those in detail, breathing deeply as you attend to the sounds. And then maybe use a little bit of safe self-talk. Remind yourself, just a sensation, it'll pass, I'm okay right now. As you use this safety signal, your nervous system is going to regulate a bit more. And then you could shift back to a danger signal of your pain, symptom, or difficult emotion inside. Explore that in detail. Like I said, drop in, describe, deepen connection. And then maybe you start to feel a little dysregulated, so you shift back to a safety signal. Now, for some practices that I do, I'm just shifting maybe once or twice. Other people really like going back and forth repetitively for 5 to 10 minutes. So find what works for you. But again, the point of embodiment work isn't to make your pain and symptom go away. It's to cultivate safety and get those healing wins, which is going to enter you into that desensitization cycle. So shifting back and forth between safety signals and danger signals cultivates enough safety and regulation so you can get those healing wins. This is one of my favorite somatic skills that I teach people. So the somatic skill of shifting is actually based on Peter Levine's skill, pendulation. Peter Levine was the creator of somatic experiencing, and he would help people kind of pendulate back and forth between pleasant and unpleasant. I just kind of simplified it and called it shifting. But really start to explore this. I think it can be really beneficial to learn and teach your nervous system how to shift back and forth between safety and danger signals. So I also want to give credit to Alan Gordon and the Pain Reprocessing Therapy Center. In my approach, we really pulled heavily from pain reprocessing therapy to create embodiment practices and our own version of how to work somatically with pain and symptoms. So this is the embodiment practice and what it can look like. You're dropping in and describing the sensations. You're deepening your connection with them, really getting to know them. You're staying in the healing window, and you're shifting between safety signals and danger signals. And by doing embodiment work consistently, you can start to retrain your brain out of chronic pain and chronic symptoms. During your pain or symptom journey, if you have spent most of your time doing physical assessments and treatments and you're not seeing progress, it's likely because you're trying to treat your pain and symptoms in the wrong place. You're focusing on fixing the body, but you need to focus on creating safety in your brain and nervous system. And that's what embodiment practices will help you do. So I will put a free link for an embodiment practice in the description of this video. You can go and try it out now that you fully understand this process. So I hope this video is helpful, and I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.